Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the LL Sports and News channel. Thank you so much for watching the video, really appreciate it. I thought I'd do a quick video today as we're moving into the international break. I thought I'd do a video on Arsenal's performance over the season so far. I guess you could call it a half-term report card if you like. So yeah, I thought I'd do that and see what you guys think. Okay then, let's get started. So Arsenal's current season, 2024-25 season, began on the 17th of August with a home game against Wolves. And since then, until now, Arsenal have played 10 games in 3 different competitions, being the Premier League, the Champions League and the Carabao Cup. So what I'm going to do in this video is assess Arsenal's performance in those 3 competitions, finish up by giving a grade of how I think they've been so far. Okay, then let's start with the Premier League, which I think most Arsenal fans would agree is Arsenal's top priority at the start of the season. I'm sure they would have drawn up a priority list. And I think the Premier League would be at the top of that. So Arsenal in the Premier League so far, we played 7 games starting back on August. 7 games in the Premier League, currently 3rd in the table. We've got 17 points from a possible 21. 5 wins in that, Wolves, Spurs, Aston Villa, Leicester and Southampton. 2 draws, Brighton and Man City, no defeat. So we're unbeaten in the Premier League so far this season. Goals scored 15, goal conceded 6 with a goal difference of +9. So I think that's pretty good return actually for Arsenal. Yeah, I think so. And in those 5 wins that we've had, I think there's been some pretty good wins in that. The 3 wins that stand out to me would be beating Villa away, 2-0. I thought that was a very good performance, very good result. Obviously, beating Tottenham away is always going to be a good result. I thought that was a good game, well contested. We came through that, beat them 1-0. And I would also put in the Arsenal draw against Man City when we come within a hair's breadth of actually beating City away. But we got a draw. And the reason why, to me, that was such a notable success for Arsenal is because if you remember, we were down to 10 men for pretty much the whole of the second half. So, yeah, well done to the team for that. Next, let's look at the performances in the Champions League. Now, in terms of priority, I would say that the Champions League would probably be Arsenal's number 2 in their priority list. Now, these are my prioritisations, but I think it's rational to say that the Champions League will be just behind the Premier League in terms of Arsenal's priorities. Right, okay, so with the Champions League, I think I should just briefly explain there's been a new format this year. So I think it's very important to just briefly describe how the new format works. So there's 36 teams in total this year, 9 groups, but the games are played in a league format. And so when all the games are played, how it works is that you have to be in the top 16 to get through to the next round. Yeah. So you need to be in the top 16. And when all the games are played, the teams in the top 8 will automatically go through to the next round. And then the teams that finish from 9, I think, to 24 or 5, they will contest a sort of mini playoff type thing to get into that next round. So, yeah, there's 16 teams out of the 36 that will go through to the next stage of the Champions League. So, hope that makes sense. So in Arsenal's group, I should just say we've got Atalanta, PSG, Shakhtar Donetsk, Inter, Monaco, Sporting, GFK Dynamo and Girona. And in the Champions League so far, we played 2 games. One away against Atalanta, which we drew 0-0. Not the greatest game, but, we didn't lose. So, it's a decent result. That was our first game. And in the second Champions League game, we had a fairly routine win over the French champions PSG. So 2 games there, 2 games, a draw and a win. So I think Arsenal off to decent start in the Champions League. Currently in the Champions League table, we're 13th, so we're on course to be in that, top 6. Well, maybe not in the top 8, but I think you could say that Arsenal would be expected to be in that top 16 that go through to the next round. I'd be very surprised if they weren't. So yeah, I would definitely expect them to qualify. Arsenal's next game in the Champions League is a home game against Shakhtar Donetsk of Ukraine. They probably play their games in Poland because of the situation going over in Ukraine there. But yeah, Shakhtar Donetsk is our next game. But yeah, a decent start in the Champions League. I think you pretty much agree. Let's now look at Arsenal's performance in the Carabao Cup. And I would say that the Carabao Cup is probably the fourth of the priority list. So if you have the Premier League as your number one priority, Champions League number two, I would say the FA Cup, which starts in January, would be Arsenal's priority three, and the Carabao Cup would be Arsenal's four. Listen, I'm sure they want to win the Carabao Cup, but I think in terms of priorities, that one would probably go in as four. So in the Carabao Cup, Arsenal have played the one game in the third round. We went in at the third round. We played Bolton at home, had a resounding win, if you like, against Bolton, beat them 5-1. Not too much problems there. Guys like Sterling played in that game, got a goal and assist, Havertz, the rest of them, you know what I mean? It's a pretty routine win. And the next round, I think we've got Preston away. So that could be a difficult game, actually. But yeah, so we've gone through in that, so that's good. So to round up the season so far then, having looked at the three competitions that Arsenal have been involved in so far this season, since the season started back in August, in total, Arsenal have played 10 games, right? They've won 7 of those games. As I said, Wolves in the Premier League, Aston Villa in the Premier League, Spurs in the Premier League, Bolton in the EFL Cup, Leicester in the Premier League, PSG in the Champions League, and Southampton, a most recent win in the Premier League. We've drawn 3 games. Brighton in the Premier League, where we had Leandro Trossard sent off. Sorry, no, Declan Rice sent off. Man City had Trossard sent off in that game, and Atalanta in the Champions League. So those are the 3 draws. In those games, we scored 22 goals and conceded just 7. So again, I think that's a pretty good return for Arsenal in terms of those 3 competitions. Weighing up our strengths, I think you're going to have to say that the biggest strength that Arsenal has shown so far is in the defence. The defence has been almost impregnable this season, and that's been headed up by the goalkeeper. David Raya has been outstanding so far, really has done really well, and that back four has been phenomenal. In particular, I've got to call out Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba. That combination at the back there is proving to be very resilient, and it's been key in our defence this season. Shout out also to Jurrien Timber, who's coming at right back and left back and wherever, and he's fitted in well. Also, Calafiori's come in and done a good job. But basically, the defence has been solid, disciplined and well organised. And like I said, the partnership between Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes has been outstanding. In the midfield, we've shown great resilience. We've maintained a high possession rate in pretty much all of our games. We've created plenty of chances, and they've done all that off the back of Martin Odegaard, who's, let's face it, Arsenal's captain, leader and talisman. He's been missing from the team since September, picking up a nasty ankle injury while playing for Norway in the international break in September. So when you consider that Odegaard's been out, for Arsenal to have been that effective in midfield, I think speaks volumes. So shout out to those guys there. Moving forward in terms of the attack, now the attack has been good. I would say it could be even better, but it's done well. In particular, the names that will stand out will be Saka. He's been amazing this season. I think he's got something like 7 assists in total now. He's weighed in with goals as well. He's been outstanding. The numbers that this guy's posting is unbelievable. Even when he's not hitting his heights in terms of play, the numbers that he's posting in terms of assists and goals is phenomenal. Really is one of Arsenal's go-to players. Outstanding guys. So he's been captain in the team a few times as well this season. So shout out to him. Got to mention Kai Havertz. Big shout out to him. I think he's got something like 6 goals this season. Listen, man, Kai Havertz came into the team and last year, and there were a lot of naysayers, and I've got to say I was one of them. But incrementally, he's proving us all wrong, and he's just recently, with the goal against Southampton that he scored, equalled Robin van Persie's record of scoring in 7 straight home games. So, big shout out to him. He's doing really well, carrying the attack at the moment, it's got to be said. So yeah, man, I'm made up for him. Couple of areas where, we do need to improve. I think I would say that we've switched off in games at times. Let teams back into it, notably Leicester. We let them back in when we were 2-0 up. The game against Southampton, we conceded there when really we should have been in full control. So that was a little disappointing. But, you know, Arsenal have shown great resilience, great robustness, great mentality. So you always get the impression, even if we go behind or teams equalise on us, you tend to think that we're going to come through. That's the type of sort of mentality and intensity that we're playing with at the moment. You always seem to back this team to come through. So I'm full of admiration for that. And the one thing I would say is going forward after the international break, we need to make sure that we keep 11 players on the pitch. That is so important at this level. There's been a couple of times this season where, most notably, the Brighton game, Declan Rice got himself sent off. It was a bit harsh, but at the end of the day, he's got to learn from that. And then we had Leandro Trossard sent off against Man City. That one was a little bit more where the player was at fault. So, listen, you would expect that the players will learn from that, and moving forward, they will understand. They will know that you cannot afford to go down to 10 men in games, especially at this level. You'll get hurt. So let's hope that the players take that on board and move forward accordingly. Okay then, so in conclusion, I would say that Arsenal, being that they're unbeaten in the season so far, 10 games, 7 wins out of 10, 3 draws, in a good position in the league. They're third, but, you know, level on points with City. I think the first half of the season, I've seen the team perform admirably. They've shown some defensive brilliance. They've shown some attacking brilliance at times. So I'm very pleased with the way things are going right now. We do need to improve our discipline. We do need to make sure that, like I said, we keep 11 players on the pitch. But overall, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing so far. So moving on now to my half-term report, I would say that after the 10 games, I'm going to give Arsenal a B+. So that's my grade for Arsenal so far this season, a B+. I'll be interested to hear what you guys think. Is a B+ accurate? Should I have given them an A, or should I have dropped down to a B or a C+? What do you guys think? But I think all things being considered, it's been a pretty good start to the season so far. We're looking good. We're unbeaten, third in the league. And I think that the platform is there for Arsenal to kick on when the international break ends and the season resumes. And I strongly believe that Arsenal can go on and have a really good season and can win one of the major honours, be it a Premier League, which is my main priority, the Champions League. And listen, in the domestic cups, I'd love to see us do well. I mean, we last won the FA Cup 5 years ago. It's Mikel Arteta's only trophy to date. We've not really done that well in the Carabao Cup. I think you've got to go back to the 90s until we won it. But it is about time we won a trophy. But I think with this team and this manager, I think Arsenal are well set to win something this season, or things. But let me know what you guys think, man. Very interested to hear what you think. Drop me a line in the comments. Please keep supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Like, share and subscribe. Take care. Have a great international break, and I'll see you soon.